That's where we are going.
Finally, for a battle-weary state like Borno, an early morning rockets attack on Maiduguri would leave the governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, livid. After the rocket attack on 1,000 housing estates and 3 other places in the state's capital by Boko Haram ISWAP fighters, Governor Zulum called on the military to step up their operations to tackle activities of the terrorists in the states. Today, we thought we succeeded in putting these people back to their camp or territories. That coming to Maiduguri now, coming close to Maiduguri now is not something I envisaged earlier with the impression I've gotten about this war on terrorism.
You see, when you get impressions, try on your own to validate the impressions that you get. If you can't validate the impressions, frankly, don't go to town with it. This is the lesson that I've learned with this war. And as a young boy in my teenage years, 10 years, I read where Delegiwa said, unfortunately in all wars, the greatest casualty is the truth.
Yeah, that's the first casualty.
So you hear, oh, this one has happened, oh, that one has happened. You will never know unless you investigate on your own. So this is a war that is by no means ended. We still have a long way to go. All we can do is support our troops as we are doing, pray for them, because we are losing troops. Look at the attack on Ran, headquarters of Kalabalge local government last week. We lost 7 soldiers. We lost 7 soldiers and 2 officers, the commanding officer and a lieutenant. They came to the army base to attack the base. So it's worrisome when they can lob rockets into Maiduguri. And the governor's concern was that they must have moved close, because the range of the rockets suggests that they must have moved close to Maiduguri before firing. Which means that if the rockets had accuracy, if they acquire more deadly rockets
with longer reach,
and accuracy,
Maiduguri will be in trouble.
You know, when Saddam was lobbing Scud missiles, and they were saying that the Scud missiles were not really accurate. That if he had acquired more accurate missiles, oh my God, we would have been in trouble. The world would have been in trouble. So, for them to get that close and then lob those rockets, and it's not the first time.
Well, look at the damages.
Yes, but nobody died. If they used the more lethal rockets with plenty of TNT on it, explosive devices on it, it will kill so many people. It will kill so many people.
That contains chemical.
The warhead, the explosives attached to it is what will cause many people to die and will set houses ablaze. Okay, we are talking about 40 barrels. You can imagine somebody lobs 40 barrels into Maiduguri. Too many people will die. Too many people will die. Yes. So
40 barrels.
Yes. Fires 40 rounds a minute. You know? So that's the concern of the governor, that they've got to push them far away to the point that the city of Maiduguri can be felt safe. As long as they can fire into Maiduguri, despite all the efforts and the trenches that we have dug to make it Maiduguri impregnable, to make it difficult for them to roll their gun trucks, you know, into the city. yet they are still able to lob the thing into. So that's his concern, that they should be able to deal decisively with these guys, push them far away. If they were in Borno North, for example, you limit them to Borno North. There's no way that their rockets can find the range to get to Maiduguri. Well, at least Maiduguri town has to be safe.
Yeah.
Even for perception's sake.
Yeah.
Because I agree with the governor, he's one of the biggest supporters of our military in the last few years. He has shown total support for whatever they do. And for him to come out like this means that he realized that if Maiduguri is penetrable, then the war itself is on his back foot. Because like you said, a few months ago we were so sure that the people are on the throes of disappearing, that they've lost the will to fight, and they've been put on the defensive. But it's obvious that nothing of that nature is happening, and that we are in it for a long haul. And that is the danger. And the governor is right. There are certain things that you can only do in a war to give the people the impression you are still in control. One of them is the unpenetrable element of your capital city. Don't forget, Iraq fell solely because the capital fell. Oh, sorry, Afghanistan fell because Kabul fell. They've taken over most of the country, but there is still hope that they cannot take the capital. Once they took the airport and took the city, even the US had to pack up and go. That's what the government is afraid of. He doesn't want to fail state.
Which is the problem they are facing in Ethiopia now.
Yeah.
Because the guys are taking over the hinterland.
Jude, if you look at this video now, like this might be a new housing estate that was just built.
On the outskirts of town.
You know, these people succeeded. The level of development that Governor Babagana Zulum, you know, want to bring into that state, but with these setbacks now, what we're getting is quite discouraging. That in spite of his own attempts to, you know, develop that state, this is happening.
The governor will rebuild a town, they will destroy the town, chase away the people there. But the governor is trying to relocate people to places that they are left. You can see, look at Malam Fatori, for example. The governor is determined that since 2014, nobody has lived in Malam Fatori. It's only soldiers that were there. And the governor said, no, enough. What will soldiers be doing in that town? Let me bring people there. Let Nigerians who have fled to Niger Republic, because it's a border town. Let Nigerians who have fled to Niger Republic come back to their home country and live in their towns. That's what he's trying to do. Since he made that move known, Boko Haram has been targeting Malam Fatori. They've been targeting that area just to send the signal that, look, don't bring people here.
Don't try it.
Don't bring people here. That's what they are trying to do. They want that Borno North to be literally dominated by them. That's what they want. And you find a situation in which a local government headquarters, you have people there. But once you travel like 4 kilometers out of the local government, your life could be in danger. People are just living inside the local government headquarters, but they cannot venture out of the local government by certain kilometers. So the governor is desperate. He knows that if he can keep the state safe, the economy of the state will improve, and he will be able to take development to all parts of the state. But as things are now, he can't take development to all parts of the state. Yes, and it's stubborn.
You can't develop the states.
There are some towns in Mafa local government. Mafa is where he grew up.
Just imagine having this kind of governor in peacetime.
Yes, with his determination and his inventiveness. It can only be imagined the progress that the state will have seen. But these guys are not cooperating with him. As he's relocating people, building houses for them, they are chasing people away from those places. Chasing people away from. So the frustration that he demonstrates sometimes is understandable. He too had almost lost his life in his hands. They've attacked his convoy at least 3 times.
Multiple occasions, yeah.
You know, because they want to send a signal to him that, look, whatever you are doing, and he's saying that he wants all the IDPs to go home by the end of December. You know,
Just sounding impossible.
If you see, Shetima too, remember he made that promise, and I said back then that no, governor, it's not possible. In the end, I was proved right. But this person is more determined and more willing to take risk. But at the same time, can we guarantee the safety of people being relocated to dangerous areas?
Do you have enough troops?
Do you have enough troops to protect them? Because this era of super camps have left many communities undefended. When you want to build a super camp, you are concentrating a lot of your arsenal in that super camp, concentrating plenty of troops in that super camp, and withdrawing many of the troops guarding small communities and bringing them there.
And these terrorists will still have the infantry to attack the super camp.
Of course. They are known to have dislodged some super camps now. It's on record. They've dislodged some super camp. It depends on what you come with. Because if they do their own recce and they realize that, in this super camp, they have also number of gun trucks, they have also number of troops, they can come with double that number.
It's just
the sensible thing for soldiers to do is when they see that they are outnumbered, both in terms of the weapons and personnel,
manpower,
they will flee. When they flee, they will wait for reinforcement from the Air Force and maybe nearby commands, nearby bases. Then they will come back and retake their base. That's usually what happens. But people think that, if they hear that they took a base, that is such a bad thing. No. Retreat is part of strategy in the army. You retreat.
Tactical maneuver.
Yes. You retreat.
Except when you are fighting a war for territory and you are not on the offensive. And then you are forced to go into retreat every time you're under attack. Now, I want to commend the governor for what he has done. But you should not feel bad. History of civilization.
Tactical retreat. That's what it's called.
History of civilization all over the world will tell him that if you cannot return people to their own base, at least let them be safe. It's ideal for them to go back home. But all the cities in the world that became mega cities were once fortified fortresses. Kano itself was a fortress. Ibadan, of course, you know. Because people will come into town to feel protected. So that's what will amount to now, to keep them safe. Let's keep the super camps.
I want to thank you, Osiare Gani Kaide Balogun.
Always a pleasure.
For your contribution.
Welcome back to Lagos.
Yes, and the maestro himself, BKO, Babajide Kolade Ostaju.
What is welcome back to Lagos? It's been in Lagos.
We're winding now for the year and counting down to the end of the year.
Yes. Christmas, you can't wait.